Oh, you done did it now. Chaos, you should have put this one in the vault, man. They not ready. They don't know what's coming, man. Are we gonna drop this on them right here? Y'all ain't ready for this. Y'all ain't ready for none of this. Your boy's a bad man. And we invading the streets, make them clap a rapper skirt. They be dropping the heat. Shock the world, now I'm standing alone. I flip fools like them clamshell cellular phones. You can't help but nod your head to the track. Fuck the watered down rap, we be taking it back. Give it to me straight, ain't no chasing it. Check yourself in the mirror, ain't no facing it. Cause you playing the role and you planning to fold. This the master plan, we got the planet on hold. We all over the streets like your favorite sneaker. Breaking up your sound like a drive-through speaker. Everything that I be spitting is strong. After I rock, fast forward through the rest of the song. We the monkey wrench, that's gonna ruin your plan. And don't fuck with John Cena, I'm a bad man.
With the mic in my hands, I'm a bad man. Even in a fight with my hands, I'm a bad man. Living in the streets all my life, I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man, I'm a bad man. With the mic in my hands, I'm a bad man. Even in the fight with the hands, I'm a bad man. Living in the streets all my life, I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man, I'm a bad man.
We devils, rockin' ambient levels. We set loose among hot tunes to instrumentals. And cats got one-liners, I drop several. Man, I think it's funny you choose losing progress or running in place. We making moves, and y'all settle. I rip rappers and take responsibility for making future Hall of Famers look third rate. Y'all are lost for words like conversation on your worst first date and ride beats. Creep through side streets, loose leaf notepads, that's where rhymes leak. Punchlines, man, don't even beg. I got knee slapping tracks, y'all bruising your leg. You a rhyme writer, buddy, man, that's a joke. You ain't worthy of being my secretary, man, that's a quote. I flood tracks like cracks and bolts, and pussy rappers choked up with their own lines in their throat.
With the mic in my hands, I'm a bad man. Even in a fight with my hands, I'm a bad man. Living in the streets all my life, I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man, I'm a bad man. With the mic in my hands, I'm a bad man. Even in the fight with the hands, I'm a bad man. Living in the streets all my life, I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man, I'm a bad man. Turn up the microphone and feed me, I'm a beast. MCs and they beats is what I eat. 16, I leave you in the street. My rhymes are sicker than gangrene in both feet. It's spreading up the leg and headed for the head. Your rhymes are whack, your style is proof that the brain corrosion is fucking with your chosen flows. I'm nice with mics, my hands will break your nose like Mikey Tyson. Fighting in his prime, one rhyme and I shake up the room one time. Boom, to the jaw, your face is a coke type raw. The blood and snot they mix. Jelly on the floor, my love is Compton bricks. Belly on the floor, I rob you. You soft and you really ain't a problem, I solve you. 357 long nose revolve you. Acid in your face, bad look dissolve you. I'm a bad, bad man. Yeah, check it out. It's Bumpy Knuckles, baby. And I want you to say hello to the bad, bad man. Come on. With the mic in my hands, I'm a bad man. Even in a fight with my hands, I'm a bad man. Living in the streets all my life, I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man, I'm a bad man. With the mic in my hands, I'm a bad man. Even in the fight with the hands, I'm a bad man. Living in the streets all my life, I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man, I'm a bad man.
Good morning, everybody. It is December 2nd. It's Larson Live, and how are we? Okay, the song we opened up with was Bad Bad Man by perennial WWE champion Toilet Dinner, John Cena. And for entirely unrelated reasons, let's talk about what's going on in China, because it's a doozy. So, with the World Cup going on, China has been under severe COVID lockdown for quite a while. And watching the soccer games, I should say, the good people of China have noticed that not everybody else is on lockdowns. And unfortunately, they were told that the whole world was in lockdown. And needless to say, the Chinese people are absolutely pissed. Like, they're protesting real hard. And the government's fighting back. Like, there was a COVID quarantine camp in Lanzhou, Gansu province, and they just burnt down that whole goddamn COVID quarantine camp. The spirit of the Gansu Braves still lives on. Yeah, nothing like Boxer Rebellion references to really get that mainstream appeal. Yes, China is erupting into protest, and YouTube, of course, censored the coverage of it. Like enormous protests at Foxconn, which is the big factory that Apple uses to manufacture their crap. Yeah, they had these digital, passports to let people get out of the country. Even people who had cleared passports were suddenly finding themselves uncleared, so they had to stick around in the airport. I mean, like hundreds of thousands of people. I'm looking at videos right now. People are like throwing, those like little metal barriers, fighting with riot police with their shields. People are calling, down with the CCP. It's some crazy shit. A lot of people from the West are also reacting to it. Justin Trudeau of Canada said, everybody in China should be allowed to protest. We will continue to ensure that China knows that we in Canada stand for human rights and the people who are expressing themselves, which is funny considering how brutally the Canadian government treated those Canadian truck protesters. I mean, I find that slightly hypocritical, Mr. Trudeau. And of course, there's plenty of COVID lockdowns elsewhere in the world, New Zealand, Australia. There's also protesting going on in the Netherlands. Those truck farmers are still, I'm sorry, the farmers, not truck farmers. That's something completely different. And, it's people are finally having enough of all this COVID crap. And we'll see how the Chinese government reacts to it. And, I mean, with regards to what's going on in China, John Cena is going to have a lot of hard work covering this up and whitewashing this. John Cena, of course, showing himself to totally cuck out to the Chinese government when promoting Fast and the Furious, 11 or whatever the hell number it was. If you'll recall, he had the audacity to say that Taiwan is a country. Then they literally dragged his steroided ass out and forced him to apologize to the entire Chinese country. Mainland China, of course. Yeah, it's John Cena's going to have to eat like 10 ice cream cones to make up for this. Of course, he was filmed eating ice cream and promoting Fast and the Furious 9, and that made everything better. It was Ni Hao Zhongguo, 我是 John Cena, 我喜欢我的冰淇淋. I'm still proud to say that I've never seen any Fast and the Furious movies, nor do I really have any care to. I don't care how many bald douchebags you put in those movies. But yeah, let's see if John Cena will, rush in and do his heroism, his heroic duty to save the Chinese Communist Party. This is supposed to be the archetypical all-American face, mind you. For those of you not aware, professional wrestling has, many more or less archetypical characters. It has been said that professional wrestling is essentially the American version of Commedia dell'arte or Kabuki, in that there are, stock characters that people interpret. One of those stock characters happens to be, the sort of patriotic hero, typically associated with America, but there have been, certainly other patriotic heroes as well. You'll also have, kind of like ethnic champions, like a Pedro Morales or a Bruno Sammartino, representing the Puerto Rican and Italian immigrants, respectively. But yeah, there's something, the irony of, the all-American hero, John Cena, who played the Marine in a movie, bending over for the communists. The irony was lost on nobody. And man, Hulk Hogan or Bob Backlund never would have bent over for the Soviet Union, I'll tell you that. Like, imagine if in 1989, Hulk Hogan comes out and he does a little vignette, bending over for the Soviets. He's got a big bowl of borscht. It's got the sour cream and the chives in it. He's all like, Hey, privet, меня зовут Hulk Hogan. Я очень люблю есть борщ. Пойти посмотреть, no holds barred, господин. Oh, I sure hope Google Translate, translated that right because I don't speak a word of Russian. What I was trying to say, and somebody will have to correct me if I was wrong, I was saying, hello, my name is Hulk Hogan. I like to eat borscht. Go see No Holds Barred, brother. Gaspadine, of course, means gentleman. So, it's more or less the same thing. Let's see if we got some comments here. Ponythroat says, China keeping lockdowns for so long, despite having seen them do nothing of good anywhere else, at least suggests the COVID being intentionally leaked by China to damage others is probably not true. Well, it's like Hanlon's razor. Never attribute to evil what can be attributed to stupidity. A lot of people say it was that bio lab leaked out COVID. If it did, it was probably an accident. I don't think China deliberately did it. Ponythroat says, that feeling when you want to commit another day in 1989 when nothing happened at all. Yes, there are cameras everywhere these days. Yes, that day where nothing happened at all in Tiananmen Square. Ponythroat says, this has nothing to do with anything but a dead thunderfly trapped under my monitor screen. Keep thinking there is an accent mark in the text box I'm typing in right now. I don't know what a thunderfly is. Let me look that up. Okay, thrips, order of insects. Little true bugs. They have, sucking mouth parts, I guess. Yeah, I could maybe use this in my biology class. Ponythroat says, Hulk Hogan doing that. I imagine you're envisioning him in the side of that noodle advertisement, but with borscht instead. I mean, not really. If I wanted him to be eating noodles, I could have easily said he was eating beef stroganoff, because that actually has noodles, and it's a Russian dish. But no, I was specifically imagining, the infamous video of John Cena wearing a suit, eating Bing Chilin, and, bending over for the Chinese government. Obviously, Hogan would be wearing a suit while eating borscht for the Soviets. Every so often, John Cena teases, doing a heel turn, becoming a bad guy, partially because most of the, the critics of wrestling, such as they are, feel that he was more talented as a bad guy than as a good guy. But, he never gets around to doing it because, he does like the Make-A-Wish with the kids and, all that crap, so, it would look bad. But you know what? If this was 1980s WWF, the F signifies that it was good, because fuck the E. They would have gone all out with this, turning Cena heel, and making him a specifically, like, Chinese themed, like, Yellow Peril hero. Like how they had Sergeant Slaughter defect to the Iraqis during Desert Storm. Like, I want this. Screw political correctness. Like, I want to see Cena do a full heel turn and just go full, like, Wu Mao. He could come out to the ring wearing, like, Mao suits. They could film vignettes with him, like, training with Kung Fu masters and stuff. He could change his theme song, his entrance theme, to the Orient Express theme. The song that literally every Asian wrestler had in the WWF until, like, 1998. But alas, they're not going to do that. I mean, you've got the opportunity. WWF, do it. Okay, Ponythroat says, Thunderfly, a small insect well known for getting trapped behind screens during the warm months. It's the only insect that does that. What about love bugs? Don't they get trapped behind screens? Oh, wait, no, I'm thinking screen doors, not like computer screens. I've never had a bug get behind my computer screen. I'm thankful for that. Ponythroat says, dressing up John Cena as Shang Tsung. Yes, that's what I'm saying. They should literally have him coming down to the ring with, like, the puffy kung fu pants and wearing, like, the Bruce Lee shoes. And have, like the theme song from, like, Showdown in Little Tokyo. Dun, 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 dun. Like, playing as he comes out to the ring. But, they're not going to do that. Speaking of international shenanigans, the USA versus Netherlands soccer game, because it's called soccer, is going on right now. I'm just going to briefly look on Twitter to see how that's going. Oh, Netherlands is winning. That's great. All right, well, it's 1-0, and there's 74 minutes left in the game. We can still make it up. All right, so let's leave China behind for now. And, I talked about America and I talked about Canada. Let's deal with America first because both countries are absolutely sucking it up. Let's deal with America first. Okay, so President Biden's, nuclear waste guru, the non-binary bald man with a mustache who's been photographed in dresses, apparently he stole a woman's fancy purse, a $2,325 purse from the airport. And then he hosted a weird sex seminar at the Kink conference just weeks later. Yeah, America's a serious country. Yeah, for those who are not aware, this dude literally is a bald man with a mustache who makes no effort to look like a woman, but wears dresses and, steals women's purses and what have you. America's a serious country, people. Trying to see if I can find any more details about this. Let's see. About this nuclear embarrassment. Okay, yeah, it's Sam Brinton. And he's been... Yes, Jesus Christ, at no point does this man ever not look like a man wearing a dress. And I guess it makes sense if you imagine that he's, literally taking what he finds in people's suitcase and just wearing that. Either that or he might be drinking the nuclear waste, which I suppose would, clarify things and kind of clear things up. I have to ask, is this really who we want handling our nuclear waste? Just, I'm just suggesting. Okay, let's see. Pony Throat, who was the only person talking, he first talks about thunderbugs. It depends on the screen. Some are more permeable than others. They're relatively new screens with a soft matte plastic. They get behind those. Yeah, well, I don't know. I just don't get thunderbugs around where I live. I get ants and things that kind of crawl through the floorboards on occasion, but not thunderbugs. All right. Pony Throat talking about soccer says, given that the USA's best World Cup showing was third place in 1934, I don't think much of their victory chances. Yeah, well, I can hope for the best. Then talking about the inanity of Sam Brinton, Pony Throat says, I don't know what they expected to get by hiring complete degenerates. Degen's going to degen. Yes, that is an iron law of the universe. Pony Throat continues, 500,000 years ago, this guy would be found entombed at the center of a field of giant spikes and blocks. Although the legend is not a place of honor. Well, 500,000 years ago, I don't think anybody was writing anything. It would just, there would be some violent unga-bunga going on, certainly on Sam Brinton, but I don't think there would be any writing. C-Punk Messiah says, I've always thought the non-binary thing was rather silly. Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. So, there's this comedian, her name's I guess her is the right word. She's non-binary, she's an NB, it's May something or other. Let me, see what this woman's name is. Can I find this woman's name? It's May something. I don't. And yeah, this. Oh yeah, Mae Martin. She gets a Netflix stand-up special. She's talking about what it means to be non-binary. And by the way, this woman literally just looks like. I'm sorry, this non-binary person literally just looks like a woman with with short hair. So in this little clip that I see of her quote unquote comedy, and I can judge this because I've performed stand up comedy in a club once and I totally tanked. That's that's neither here nor there. So this person, she it's basically a TED talk. She's explaining what is non-binary, and her brilliant metaphor for explaining non-binary is to look at the 1991 Disney animated classic Beauty and the Beast, which tells you about the mentality of this person. And she's like, okay, so it's like you got your gender extremes. So on the one hand, you got Gaston, he's like hyper masculine, which is true. I've actually talked about that myself, and he was totally the hero of that movie. What? Anyway, then Belle is the feminine. She's the other end of the spectrum, and then she says. And then there's Lumiere, the candlestick. Like, that's me. I'm like, what? First of all, I don't even know where to begin dissecting this idiocy. Like, first of all, are you saying that you're a non-human object? Like, I don't understand where you're coming from here. And, like, secondly, I don't know if Lumiere is exactly what you would call non-binary. And by that, I mean, isn't he literally a caricature of, like, Maurice Chevalier and Charles Boyer and, your stereotypical, like, French horn dog? Isn't that just, like, another form of masculine? Like, isn't that just another sort of masculine stereotype? The sort of hypersexual, what do you call it? The sort of hypersexual, jovial Frenchman rather than the, overly muscled meathead brawler as represented by the villain. Anyway, yeah, this comedy special looks like it has a severe dearth of comedy, and I will not be watching it. Okay, we got some comments here. C-Punk Messiah says, also, I hope we eventually use thorium for nuclear power. It's cleaner, it won't melt and go Chernobyl, and it's more efficient. Yes, I'm a big booster of nuclear power myself. I just don't want weird spanky fetishes to be running our nuclear power plants. Okay, Ponythroat says, I meant to write later, but in my haste, I had a Biden moment. I assume you did not get the reference about spikes in a place of honor and its relation to his job in radioactive waste. No, I did not, sir. Please explain to me what this means, or I can go look it up. Okay, Okay, so I looked it up, and okay, apparently you're referring to a My Little Pony fan fiction. I'm gonna be honest with you, sir. I have not read much in the way of My Little Pony fan fiction. But, thank you for expanding my literary horizons. Ponythroat, showing a surprising amount of knowledge of nuclear power. Thorium is overhyped. It's not fusible or fissible by itself, and requires mixing with uranium. Yes, Ponythroat says that the My Little Pony thing is based on a proposed way of storage hazard waste that would last longer than written language. Yes, I have heard about that. Like, they did that with that what do they call it? That mountain where they have all the nuclear waste. People have wondered how are we going to warn future generations about it if like 1,000 years from now people don't speak English. What will we do? So yeah, the non-binaries, the NBs are just swing and a miss twice this week. Terrible comedians and terrible nuclear waste hazard disposal people. Step up your game, NBs. Alrighty. And speaking of Canada, our northern neighbor is not any less stupid than us. Okay. Hold on just one second. I checked the sports ball. Okay, its score has not changed. Netherlands still winning. Yeah, so Canada is now openly promoting advertisements for medical assistance in death, which less polite people would call euthanasia. And let me tell you about this commercial. It's like, it literally looks like a Viagra commercial. It's like, there's some nice people. They're like sitting on the beach and they're blowing bubbles and cave diving. And, there's like jellyfish and there's a woman playing a cello. Yay, dinner time. Beach, more on the beach. People meditating on the beach. Jellyfish. Then it's like, kill yourself. Wink. Okay, it doesn't literally say that. It shows all these happy things, and it says, in memory of Jennifer, birth date, death date. And it's really encouraging you to, go to the suicide booth and kill yourself. I mean, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I'm not inherently against medical assisted suicide, for people who have like terminal cancer or people who have like crippled themselves in like, accidents. But, from what I hear, it's like they're just encouraging people who have depression or just, are poor. They're just off themselves. I can't say I approve, Canada. I mean, I guess they must be running out of money because these articles are saying, like, it'll save millions of dollars if we just, have people kill themselves so we don't have to take care of them. I can't say I approve. I mean, we're really just one step away from the, 25-cent suicide booths from Futurama. Apparently, this is something that has been happening for several years in Canada, kind of under the table, and only now are people openly talking about it. As much as I don't care for the American healthcare system, it's starting to look okay now in comparison. Hey, I mean, the teachers union does give me decent healthcare at the very least. Okay, Ponythroat says there's nothing to do with My Little Pony. I don't know why somebody's fanfiction is first in your Google results. I literally looked up, this is not a place of honor. And that's the first thing that came up. But yes, I do look a bit further, and yes, it came up. All right. So it's good to know. Ponythroat also says, that is not the MAID I wish to take advantage of. Yeah, you and me both, buddy. I mean, they're basically encouraging people who don't need to kill themselves to kill themselves. I mean, people who are depressed, people who have PTSD, or they're just, poor. Doctor, I'm depressed. What should I do? Have you considered suicide? At this point, I say, honestly, might as well just put The Running Man on TV. I don't mean the movie. I mean the actual death game show. If your solution to intractable social problems is to have people killing themselves to save money, why not get some pay-per-view buys out of it? Two birds, one stone. I mean, you want to talk about saving money, you're making money and saving money there. Maybe Justin Trudeau could implement death game shows if he's not busy dressing up as Aladdin or whatever the hell he's doing this week. Not to be outdone by the Canadian healthcare system, the World Health Organization came up with a brilliant plan to deal with monkeypox, in that they're going to change the name to Mpox in an effort to address the racist and stigmatizing language that critics say has harmed efforts to contain the disease. Yeah, that'll do it. Changing the name of the disease. Yeah, don't bother, dealing with the actual disease. Just, change the name. It plays into racist stereotypes, and it's imprecise. So, Mpox is, gonna make all the difference. Yes, I would like to announce a student who shall remain nameless. Let's call her Monkey P. No, that's too obvious. Let's call her Mpox. I know the average person isn't all that smart, but you gotta assume that they're gonna realize the M stands for something. I mean, can we just square the circle and call it homopox? Okay, C Punk Messiah says, it's making me nostalgic about the Brony years. That was a strange time. I will admit, I did watch a few episodes of that, and it was all right. I honestly kind of lost interest after the second season. I know it went on for 7 more. I really didn't care after that. Monkey P. Buffy. Again, my vote's for homopox. Steve Philbrick says the Running Man should have the hate boat as a lead-in. I like Running for Cash or whatever it is, where the people who have heart conditions run on treadmills to get money. Let me see if I'm right about that. It's running for bills or running for cash or something like that. All right, whatever. But yeah, we can also do the hate boat. Have a little hate boat, running for cash. Have a Captain Freedom's aerobics video. Oh, climbing for dollars. That's it. It was treadmill for dollars in the book. And there's also swimming with crocodiles. Yeah, we can always bring back the Running Man. Funny Thought says, it's a new gift for the morally upstanding community to get paused with. Yeah, it's remember when the children and dogs were getting the monkeypox and then everybody just stopped talking about it? All right, so we got some more things going on. In Old Blighty, England, a headline says, diversity is a beautiful thing. Minority ethnic people make up 59% and 51% of the respective populations in Leicester and Birmingham, the UK's first super diverse cities. I'm going to be honest, it doesn't look all that beautiful to me, but what can I say? Also, I like how diversity always means like no white people. This also coincides with Britain now using the term BAME, BAME, British, Asian, Middle Eastern. I'm going to say it's not crazy about that. I mean, I don't know if anything's going to be done about this. There's a man with a mustache named Enoch who's smiling very, somewhat sardonically. Yeah, I'm not going to pretend like I'm a super expert on what goes on in Blighty, because I'm not. When I see it's not all that Q. Yeah, you're going to flip over briefly to the sports ball. Nothing has happened. Well, I'm sure something has happened, but, nothing I can watch. I don't even got the sports channel on TV. I get a bunch of panel discussions about sports, which I hate. I think that's one of the stupidest things you could ever do for any kind of programming. Yeah, let's just have a bunch of idiots talking about sports instead of, actually showing the game or the fight or whatever it is. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, in geological news, Mauna Loa, a Hawaiian volcano, I think it might actually be the biggest volcano in the world. It erupted for the first time in 38 years. Read about that. We are now in day 5 of active lava flow. As this morning, 2 fissure vents are still active. It's beautiful in an apocalyptic sort of way. Yes, Mauna Loa is the world's largest active volcano. Fountains of lava up to 200 feet high have been fired into the air from Mauna Loa. Pele's kicking it up today. That's Pele, not Pele, the soccer player. Pele, the goddess of the volcanoes. Yeah, you should check out these pictures if you want. It's pretty groovy looking. Okay, no new comments, so I shall just move on. All right, let's see. We have some Twitter shenanigans in the fitness community. What was the big news today? The Liver King is not natty. So the Liver King is a YouTube fitness man who claims that his buff physique came from just eating lots of organ meats, liver in particular. Now, while I do certainly approve of eating organ meats, heart, the heart has a lot of collagen, it's good for your skin. But it turns out that the Liver King was not, in fact, getting his physique just from, eating, offal and organ meats. Turns out he was shooting steroids. He was trenning hard. TREN. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who exactly looks at this guy and thinks like he's natural. And correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't he also have like ab implants? Which are absolute bullshit, by the way. Yeah, anybody who has ab implants, need to get smacked in the face. But I mean, I kind of, just looking at the guy, I knew he wasn't exactly natural. I mean, nobody has that degree of vascularity in his natural. Yeah, so another fitness guy who I do watch sometimes, Derek from More Plates, More Dates, who, to his credit, I mean, he is also a roid user, but he's admitted to it. So, I mean, if you're honest about it, I can't really complain all that much. Yeah, he's got this full video. It's an hour long, which I'm not going to go into great detail here, but yeah, he goes into all the talk about how the Liver King is a dirty, dirty liar. He also worked with another YouTuber I like, Zach Tellender, to expose this clown. And and just perhaps not coincidentally, much like Jack Murphy, the Liver King is another large bearded man who sells lies and chicanery to nerds to try to get them into his alpha male program. Got the liver order or whatever it is. I mean, I kind of knew that the Liver King was, kind of a fraud. But I mean, I wasn't really surprised at that. What I am surprised at is that apparently this dude's max deadlift is only like 455 pounds. I mean, I'm a skinny nerd, and ever since I've been proteining up, like my deadlift's been shooting up. So I'm at like 390 pounds now. So I mean, I don't look anywhere near as jacked as the Liver King. So I don't know what this guy's doing wrong to have that lame of a deadlift with that physique. Yeah, so don't take this idiot's fitness advice. I never had to take any damn ab implants either. My shit's all natural. Got them front squats and medicine ball work. That's how I get my abs. No liver, no steroids, nothing. And of course, he ends up filming a video of crying like a bitch. So yeah, screw the Liver King. I mean, there's a lot of absolute hacks on fitness YouTube that are just steroiding up and they try to act like they don't. Okay, C-Punk Messiah says, there's lots of liars in the fitness community. Yes, there are. I mean, I've already, of course, talked about, the blah autism. I probably won't ever do a video on the Liver King. I mean, Derek and Zach went an hour on him. There's really nothing I could say about that. Okay, C-Punk Messiah says, muscle implants are like shoving a zucchini down your pants. Yes, they are. Pony Throat says, who the fuck calls a still living person a liver? Actual dent heads. Well, no, he calls himself the Liver King because he allegedly eats massive amounts of beef liver. Like there's videos of him with these big slabs of animal liver. Yeah, it turns out he doesn't do that. Tony Gilbert says, hello, how's it going? I'm doing good. How are you, sir? He also asked, what did John Cena do? Well, he didn't do anything exactly, but I talked about early on in the beginning the big protest going on in China. So I said, John Cena is going to have to work hard to earn his Chinese money this week. I, of course, made jokes about how, John Cena has a long and storied history of bending over for the Chi-Coms. And then I also talked about how if the WWE had any balls left, they would turn him heel and basically make him into Shang Tsung on steroids. But they're not going to. So yes, I of course made fun of John Cena's Bing Chilin. But yeah, you were not here for that. So yeah, Liver King, fraud. Don't listen to his crap. At least he didn't die like an idiot in a sauna like Z's did. I mean, I never liked Z's even when he was alive, to be honest. Yeah, if you're dying in a sauna at the age of 28, you're not healthy. Okay. But hey, kids, guess what time it is? It's time for Wages Posting L's. Okay, there's a advertisement for Timberland boots, and it says, this is a direct quote, "You're never going to be able to retire, So why should your boots retire? That's right, Wagey. You'll be working until the day you die, until the day you just drop dead on the site or whatever. So get some boots that'll last as long as you do. Timberlands. I mean, Timberlands make, a decent boot, certainly. I like Danners the most. But yeah, Timberlands are good. But I mean, this is incredibly bleak. I mean, they're just coming out right and saying it that, the average person will never be able to retire. So you better get some boots that last long. It's really great when something that's supposed to be like, advertising. By definition, advertising should be, happy and, make people feel good about themselves. Or at least that's the intention. So when advertisements literally say you'll never retire, that's we live in a society. Tony Gilbert, referring to Toilet Dinner, says he's a Chinese bootlicker and he looks like crap. Now he's off the juice. Yes, he does. More in particular, like John Cena's going bald really damn fast. Like his hair is really just giving up. I mean, maybe it's the roids. I don't know. C-Punk Messiah says Hybrid Calisthenics and The Bioneer are my go-to fitness YouTube channels. Those guys are lean and fit as fuck. Yeah, they're good. I like Zach Talander. I like I like More Plates, More Dates. I like Al Cavadlo has a channel. He's pretty good for like calisthenics in particular. All right, let's see. And now we have some. Speaking of the terrible, terrible state of society, military spouses continue to be absolute shit. What do I mean? This is a Instagram post. It shows a male soldier with a tramp stamp tattoo that says "Daddy Issues" and it's got little, florets and arabesques under it. And this post is from his wife. It says, "I'm very thankful for my husband. He got a tattoo of my choosing. He knows my father was a problem in my life, so I told him I would divorce him if he didn't get this tattoo for me. Now everyone will understand why he's with me and what I went through. I'm proud to be a Marine wife. I'm in full control of everything. Hoorah! I love wearing our uniform." Smiley face, heart, clap, nail painting, woman emoticon, American flag. Yeah, that's the American military. Just simps and like communist bootlickers. I don't understand how somebody could, be tough enough to be a Marine and still accept this. Devil dogs. Tufel Hunden. Kill, fight, die, that's what the soldier should do. Ugh. Jesus Christ. I mean, am I wrong in assuming that it's almost certain that this woman is having sex with other men while her husband is deployed? Yeah. Yes, America. These are the women you're fighting for. Think of instead a girl worth fighting for. I sing because I would put my head through the wall otherwise. And they wonder why people don't want to join the military nowadays. One sec, I'm going to blow my nose. Okay, let's look at some comments here. Tony Gilbert says, with regards to fitness tubers, I like the Hodge twins. They're funny. I haven't really watched them. There's Sankovic referring to the soccer game. Netherlands scores again, 2-0. Well, that's wonderful. All right, so Ponythroat says the Hodge twins' advice is to perpetually one step away from telling the viewer to use the Force. Well, I mean, the Force does give you remarkable vertical leaping ability. All right, C-Punk Messiah says, that's a Chernobyl of a marriage. Oh, yeah, it is. Ponythroat says, you want to bet that guy's raising somebody else's child? I mean, I hope they don't have kids. I mean, if they do, I'm certain they're not his kids. Ponythroat says, step one to maintain a relationship while in the military is to not have a relationship while in the military. Yeah, seems like a really bad idea. And, I know we, romanticize, the girl we left behind me and all that, but, yeah, I mean, I've known a few dependopotamuses in my, gotta conjugate that properly, in my time. The stereotype exists for a reason. Shinseki Evans says, my grandpa's first wife was cheating around and left him while he was fighting the Axis in World War II. Yeah, that's a shame. I mean, does this idiotic jarhead not understand like all the red flags that are going on? First of all, if your woman tells you like you got to get a tattoo that she wants, that's a red flag. Throw her out on her ass. And she says, "Our uniform." Like, bitch, you're not doing anything. Okay, shut up. Speaking of Jarhead, I distinctly remember the movie Jarhead, where the dude gets a videotape sent from his wife back home. Like, she's literally banging some other dude, and then she says, I want a divorce to the guy, like, while, he's on deployment in Desert Storm. Oh, God. Military spouses, not even once. C-Punk Messiah says the fear of being cucked is deeply ingrained in every man. Yes, it sure is. Ponythroat says, I know a guy who maintains sexual relationships while in the military intelligence by being an autist only attracted to dragons. Well, I mean, furries have a right to serve too, I suppose. All right, what else is going on in the world? You have a little bit of random silliness in which a cow escapes a slaughterhouse through a water park. It's like literally going on the water slides and everything. Now, you might be asking, who the hell would put a slaughterhouse next to a water park? The answer is Brazil. That's who puts slaughterhouses next to a water park. It rode a water slide to freedom. I do have to ask the obvious question. Why is there a water park next to a slaughterhouse? I mean, you think like the smell would, be a bit of a turnoff for the park goers. But I guess it is a sign of good engineering that slide could support the weight of a cow. So, I guess Brazilian engineers have they've earned my respect. All right, let's see. Point of Throat said Furry got canceled because he advocated for bringing back child labor. Mr. Deeds then says the land was cheap at the Brazilian, slaughterhouse water park. The slaughter park, if you will. I mean, I say, why not combine the two? Yeah, you have the water park, then you barbecue it up. You have barbecue. Seems to me like you got 2-for-1 deal. Pony Throat says a water park using blood instead of water would be metal as fuck. I feel like the differences in viscosity between water and blood might cause some problems on the slides and what have you. But, what do I know about engineering? Okay, it's halftime now in the soccer game. Come on, America! Score some fucking goals! I say as I instantly gain 200 pounds and start slamming a kettle drum. Christian Pulisic didn't get just his balls destroyed for this. For those of you who didn't watch the Iran game, the dude literally, he slid the ball into the goal. He got the goal, and then the Iranian goalie was also sliding and just planted his left foot right into his nuts. And you got to take one for the team sometimes. Okay, Liam Roddy says, what do you think of King Cobra JFS? I don't know what that is. It's, Okay, he's a YouTuber and guitarist. I haven't listened to him, to be quite honest. I'll have to check him out. Okay, and finally, here's some more big news in pop culture. The second trailer for the Super Mario Brothers movie comes out. And, yes, I'm a 31-year-old man, and obviously I'm going to talk about this movie that's for adults only. And, yeah, the trailer came out, and it basically confirmed what everybody was fearing, that Chris Pratt is totally just phoning this in. Super hard. But I gotta say, I'm kind of amused at the sheer balls of him. Where he's like, "Nah, man, that trailer didn't show you anything. You gotta hear my real Mario voice." And it's literally just his regular speaking voice. Yeah, now that we're on the topic of phoning things in, Anya Taylor-Joy wasn't exactly setting the world on fire as Peach either. The trailer did have Pauline, though, so here's hoping to get, Maggie Wheeler or somebody to voice her. And, of course, in this trailer, they had to make Peach, some castrating girl boss. The inevitable, wow, such progress. She's a strong whammon now, has come out, as if she hasn't been fighting since 1988. I mean, it's got undertones of, strong, badass whammon, which doesn't quite work for the character. Isn't the whole joke with her character that she's, hyper feminine, but still kicks ass in a comical fashion? And I mean kicks ass literally, in that a devastating hip check is, one of her most powerful moves in Super Smash Brothers. Well, that and just ferocious bitch slapping, from Super Mario RPG. Okay, Tony Gilbert says... All right, well, we've got a few comments here. Liam Roddy says, I should check out King Cobra. Perhaps I will after this stream. Tony Gilbert says, I'm not watching it. Mario's voice is trash. Why couldn't they get the actual Mario voice actor? Yeah, well, here's the thing, Tony. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I don't want 2 hours of Charles Martinet bing, bing, wahoo noises. I mean, I'm of the minority that, the kind of, gravelly voice, hey, I'm walking here. Brooklyn accent is the superior Mario voice. I think Bob Hoskins really killed it in the 1993 Mario movie. Steve Philbrick says they could have had Stallone voicing Mario. I don't know about that. Mainly because Sylvester Stallone doing comedy is like pulling your nut hairs out with tweezers. It's not good. C-Punk Messiah says Charlie Day did good as Luigi. I mean, yeah, he did. I mean, he's kind of doing his own voice too, but his voice does fit the character more, I suppose, like a spastic, kind of cowardly goof. Ponythroat says Super Mario movie would be more based if Bowser impregnates Peach while captive. How very masculine of him. Well, here's the thing. I mean, several games have shown that Peach can, kick ass. I mean, she had her own game to herself. And again, Super Mario RPG, like furious bitch slapping and frying pan beatdowns. So, I'm gonna say, like, I think maybe she wants to get kidnapped. I think she kind of enjoys it at this point. I mean, when you invite your kidnapper out for a round of golf or go-karts or tennis, it makes me a little suspicious. Again, despite my disappointment at how little of a damn Chris Pratt seems to be giving, the trailer did actually get a couple of laughs out of me. Like the Donkey Kong bit in particular. Points for being anatomically accurate to a gorilla's hands and that he can't really make a fist. So he anatomically accurately proceeds to slap the shit out of Mario. Also points for showing actual plumbing being done, so that's a point in its favor. C-Punk Messiah said they should have gotten Danny DeVito for Mario. They blew it. Yeah, actually, he wanted to play Mario in the 1993 movie, but that didn't work out. Yeah, I mean, they could have. I mean, he could still play Wario. Tom Hanks would have been better than Chris. He also wanted to play Mario. I mean, hell, you could get some, like, just go to Brooklyn and hire, like, the first contractor that you see. He'll be able to do a halfway decent voice. But yeah, they're really cramming all the crap into this. Like, they even have Mario Karts in the movie. So, yeah, I'm tepidly excited. Well, maybe, tepid excitement doesn't really work. I guess tepid interest would sound better. And yes, in case you're wondering, Chris Pratt did do a completely lame Let's-a Go. Yeah, the trailer has a mention of other galaxies and such. There's lots of Kongs in the movie, like they got Funky and Swanky and what have you. So that leads me to believe two things. One is that they're going to cram the Donkey Kong rap into this, which I obviously want to hear Seth Rogen and Fred Armisen performing. I'm sorry, I don't have the rubber thing for one of my headphone ears, so it keeps falling out. Anyway, number two is that Nintendo is going to open up, or attempt to open up, the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. That might work, but we got to set some boundaries about what's in and what's out of the NCU. Nintendo has some franchises that are definitely more lighthearted and cartoonish, and some that are more serious and hard-hitting. So you could do a shared universe of, like, the more, cartoony games, like Mario, Punch-Out, Star Tropics, Earthbound, Balloon Fight. I mean, hell, throw in Elite Beat Agents if you want to do a musical, since obviously you got to compete with the Sega Cinematic Universe doing Space Channel 5. Oh, who am I kidding? They never do a Punch-Out movie because it's racist. Okay, we've got some comments here. Ponythroat says you got to get the Hotel Mario voice actor. Yeah, I don't... Was that guy even credited? I mean, I don't know what, like, budget, like, Russian animation studio they got to do those CDI games. But I don't know if those voice actors were credited. Ponythroat asked, do they have Bluster Kong? I did not see Bluster Kong. I was looking very intently for Bluster Kong, but he was not there. I mean, they got Swanky, so I don't know. Like, I feel like you're kind of overlapping niches there. Maybe they'll make Swanky like Bluster, even though it's not how he is in the games. He's more of a swaggering, like, rat packer. I think Earthbound would be good as a movie. I mean, it is kind of what's popular now. Like, you got Stranger Things, which is a story about small town American kids fighting supernatural creatures in a nostalgic time period. That's basically what Earthbound is. It's a game set in what is essentially 1950s America as interpreted by 90s Japanese computer nerds. It's about kids fighting alien creatures with psychic powers. And it has that sort of, goofy, cartoony art style. Ignore the fact that the final fight with Gygas gets weirdly sexual. That's what happens when you walk into a porno theater when you're 5 years old and it traumatizes you for life, says the programmer of the game. Anyway, the point I'm trying to get at is that Nintendo's other franchises would not work in the NCU. Like, you sure as shit could not put Zelda and Metroid in that same oeuvre. The Mario movies being made by Illumination. You can't do goofy-ass comedy Zelda. That wouldn't work because they tried it already. Turning Link into Steve Martin didn't work. It's not going to work again. Okay, C-Punk Messiah says, I'm convinced that the Star Fox and Zelda universe are connected. I want to see that team up. Well, I mean, Arwings are in Ocarina of Time as a secret. And yeah, I know technically Mario stuff is in Zelda 2. T-O-O, not Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. I don't know, I just feel like it would clash too much. I mean, Zelda's like a pretty solid PG-13. It should be tonally like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. And, Metroid could, Nintendo never would, but you could do Metroid as like a hard R. I mean, considering that the game was literally inspired by, R-rated science fiction movies like Alien, I mean, you absolutely could do an R-rated Metroid. I mean, technically, Eternal Darkness is a Nintendo game. They had the balls to make that into a movie. I mean, they absolutely will not. I mean, that would be like a hard R, H.P. Lovecraft-inspired horror movie. I mean, I wish they would, but they wouldn't. Okay, Ponythroat says, excuse me, princess. Yes, again, I don't know what genius network executive from, Deke, yeah, I guess it would be Deke, thought, hey, let's do this Zelda cartoon. Let's make Link into Steve Martin, and let's make Link and Zelda have the same dynamic that Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd had in Moonlighting. Wait, or was it Sybil Danning? Here I go. Sybil Shepherd. Yeah, like wacky fantasy Moonlighting. Yeah, let's not do that again. To be honest, I don't even think Zelda would work as a movie. I think it would be much better as a television show. Like, the themes and the mythos and, dare I say, the tragic elements that truly make that franchise interesting, they only kind of work if you look at the games as a whole. Whereas looking at one game only gives you little hints and implications of those themes and the overarching mythology. But if you look at it on the whole, then it becomes really interesting. I mean, they kind of realized that with Castlevania, and the Castlevania cartoon was pretty cool. That's what I think Zelda should be, like a seriously done, taken seriously, dramatic, animated series. That same, similar kind of art style. And, I think that would work pretty good. Like, that remake of Link's Awakening was a pretty, it was only like a minute or so, but it was like a pretty good, like, Japanese anime style that they did. And I think that looks really cool. Like, that makes me think it could actually work as a cartoon show. But yeah, I don't think Zelda would work in like the same shared universe as like Mario. For the same reason that the Marvel superhero movies didn't just have the Punisher show up. I mean, you didn't see the Punisher involved in like the Avengers movies for a pretty good reason. Okay, Ponythroat says Captain N remake when? Yeah, let's not, okay? Captain N sucks, okay? Like, I know a lot of people are nostalgic for all those old like video game cartoons. Like, I'll rep for like like, I'll rep for like the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. I'll rep for Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. The Sonic Saturn show is wildly overrated. Like, have you watched that shit recently? It kind of sucks. And in a goofy way, like I even do kind of find the Zelda cartoon entertaining. I mean, it's basically like the Adam West Batman of the Zelda franchise. It has its place, but it's kind of, I want to say, done more seriously. But yeah, Captain N sucks. I mean, okay, C Punk Messiah says Star Fox make a great space action serial, like it's intended to be. Yeah, I mean, the Star Fox franchise has kind of hit the skids. Star Fox Adventures sucks, but yeah, like it should be like a Fast and Furious, space adventure. Shinseki Evans says European-based fantasy cannot be done right in 2022. See, there's the thing. While Zelda has a thin veneer of like European-based fantasy, I actually feel like the themes are a lot more Asian, kind of like philosophically. And yes, there are several hours-long YouTube videos about how Zelda inherently has like Shintoist themes. But yeah, I mean, I think it could work if you did it right, which they probably wouldn't. And Ponythroat says what I was thinking. Don't make cartoon Star Fox. It'll attract degens. Yeah, I blame Crystal for all the furry bullshit Star Fox became. Ponythroat then says Castlevania cartoon needed a crossover with Captain N. Simon Belmont. Well, yes, clearly. All right, so that does it for my prepared remarks. If you people want to say something else, you can say so. Okay, the soccer game is still 2-0. Can't say I approve of this. America has had multiple shots on goal. We just can't put it in that damn net. Alrighty, so it doesn't seem like anybody has anything else to say. So, for Larson Halleck, I'm Larson Halleck. All of you people have a good day.